muted.
Good afternoon. This is the City of Socorro Planning and Zoning Commission. It is July 19th, 2022, 5:30 p.m. We call this meeting to order.
Starting with item number 1, establishment of quorum, I will be taking roll call. Andrew Arroyos,
Here.
Enrique Cisneros,
Present.
Ernest Gomez,
Here.
David Estrada,
Here.
Julie Dominguez, absent. Miriam Cruz,
Present.
Juan Vaquera.
Here.
We have quorum with 5 commissioners present, 1 via Zoom. Item number 3, notice to public, open forum. Diana, do we have anyone that would like to speak?
We do not have any speakers on the queue.
Item number 4, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to approve and second by David Estrada. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain?
I abstain.
Motion carried. Item number 5, public hearing request for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Robert E. Nix, survey number 302, Robert E. Nix, survey number 304, City of Socorro, Texas, from unclassified to IC-MUD, Industrial Commercial Mixed Use District.
We
Mr.
op-
Arroyos?
We open public hearing at 5:32. We close public hearing at 5:32.
Item number 6, consider and take action on the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of Robert E. Nix, survey number 302, Robert E. Nix, survey number 304, City of Socorro, Texas, from unclassified to IC-MUD, Industrial Commercial Mixed Use District. Carlos?
Thank you, Yadira. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and Commissioners. Carlos Gainado with Planning and Zoning. I know it's been a while. I hope you guys are all doing well. The first, just want to clarify one thing on this item. There is a change to your staff report. So as is written on the agenda and has been written in the previous agenda, you will not be hearing the Robert Nix e-survey number 303. So you're only going to be voting on, and again, you're only going to be voting on essentially what has been posted on the agenda. I'm going to walk you through it, but you're only going to be voting on 302 and 304. And then the other change is that decreases the acreage from the staff report from 185 acres to approximately 150 acres. And with that, I'll start with the presentation. So again, the summary of the request is a straight up approval of a rezoning. This is a large piece of land off of I-10 towards the outer limits of the city, Socorro city limits. You all may be familiar with the area. I'll show you an area in just a second. The zoning is unclassified. It's one of these parcels that has been left over. As you all know, there's many that are unclassified, and so this process allows us to start bringing these into conformance by rezoning them to a zoning district that is conforming to the city's comprehensive plan and the city's location for these types of uses. And as I mentioned, the size is about 150 acres. There's no address. The future land use map, as I mentioned, calls this for light industrial. The land use is currently vacant, and then the proposed land use, which is what is necessitating the rezoning, is warehousing / logistics center. The request, again, is to approve from unclassified to industrial commercial mixed use district. And staff is recommending approval. Again, it's unclassified, it's on I-10. The comprehensive plan calls this light industrial. And so if you were to look at a zoning district that would be appropriate for this parcel of land, it would be the ICMUD, right? The city used to have manufacturing districts, M1 and M2. Those no longer exist. If they did, we would be recommending the M1, M2 zoning district, but because those don't no longer exist, we now have the ICMUD, which is the most appropriate zoning district for this location and this parcel of land. Here's the location map. Again, it's directly off of I-10 and directly abutting the city limits. The line in pink is city limits of Socorro. So there's a portion of it that is directly abutting the ETJ and the county. Here's the zoning map. So again, you're only looking at 302 and 304. So just an idea, it's unclassified. The surrounding land uses on this is M1s, M2s. You have some C1s, C2s. And then across the street, all that area in gray continue to be unclassified. I could tell you that we're starting to see a lot of activity in that area. I could tell you that we're starting to see some activity in that area. And so you're going to start to see some of these parcels start to go from unclassified to C2 ICMUD. Here's the property, the pictures of the property. So again, off of I-10 and vacant. Here's the aerial. Here's just another view of the aerial. All that area is vacant, but again, I think that's where you're starting to see the progression of the city development moving towards. And as required by the state code, we did send out notices to properties within 200 feet, including those outside in the county. The law doesn't dictate whether it's in the city limits, it just says 200 feet, so we did send out notices. And as of today, we have received no correspondence from any of the residents. Here's the conceptual site plan. And so it calls for 9 buildings, it has ponding areas, there's several driveways, there's a new street, and then they are showing the adequate parking facilities that they're gonna need for this type of development. And so again, in conclusion, the summary request is to approve a rezoning from unclassified to ICMUD. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't have any questions. Anybody else does? Ms. Cruz?
Thank you. Is 303 coming back?
Yes, correct.
And you said no correspondence, but were there any calls?
No correspondence, ma'am. No, nobody called, nobody emailed, nobody sent letters.
Okay. And I know that usually if a property is within 2 different ETJs, 2 different cities' ETJs, I know that the procedure, I guess, before, when it's been El Paso, for the most part, El Paso has always said, we don't care, we'll leave it up to Socorro, and that's why they come to us. Is this property in the ETJ of a different city?
No, ma'am, it's directly in your city limits. Otherwise, you would not be seeing it. This parcel of land is in the city limits of the city
The
of
entire
Socorro.
property?
100%, ma'am.
I thought that's what you were mentioning. You mentioned the ETJ.
I said it's directly abutting the ETJ.
Oh, I see. Oh, so outside, okay. So the location map, everything outside of it, that's what's outside the city limits?
Or inside the city limits, correct.
Okay. Let's see, I had another question. The site pictures, do you have dates for those?
They're off of Google, ma'am, so I don't have dates for them.
Okay, so we don't have any dates from today, like recent?
Looks exactly the same.
And we don't have dates for aerial maps either?
I don't know.
If you go back to the site plan, can you let us know which portion of the site plan is the one that we're not reviewing today?
Yeah, sure. So can you pull it up, Zaina? So it is essentially, if you're looking at it right, we're all looking at it straight up. So essentially the southwest corner, essentially that corner of that last property on the left. Yeah, that's right. So if you draw a line like in that corner, Diana, yeah, you had it. No, just going straight.
That circle was, I think.
Can you guys see the cursor?
Yeah, well, I can.
It's essentially this land right here.
Okay. Okay, so I mean, the majority of it is what we're voting on.
Yes, ma'am, correct.
There are some, what seem like some residential area that's called Angels Park Unit 1.
Yes, ma'am.
What is the width of the street between, or proposed width of the street between that lot
60.
and Angels Park unit?
So it's 60 feet.
So that makes it a collector street?
No, yeah. I mean, the classification is not only the width of the street, but the
The use?
Yeah, correct, exactly.
Well, and the reason I ask is because we're talking about a proposed, obviously it could be something different later, but what do we call it? The warehouse. So I imagine 18-wheelers. And so, my concern, as it always is for the neighbors, whether or not they're in the city of Socorro, they're still people. And, worried about their homes and any potential effect to that. Mr. Gallina, last question. Other than warehousing, I know that's the proposed use, but if it is changed to this use, or zoning, sorry, can you give us examples of what other things could be put there other than warehousing?
Yes, ma'am. So technically, what happens is that the way that the rezoning works is that the applicant has to be very specific about the use. And so in this case, they are asking for the ICMUD specifically for warehousing and logistics center. I don't have the list in front of me, but essentially it is, you could put a Target, you could put a Home Depot, heavy commercial. And again, the manufacturing uses M1, M2, essentially the stuff that you see now on all along I-10.
Right, and so they would they have to come back?
Yes,
If-
they would have to come back if they change it.
Okay, and that was, I said that was my last question to you, but I do have a question for the applicant.
Sure.
Are they here? Yeah.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Jorge Ascarte with CA Group, and we'll entertain any questions that the Commission may have.
Hi, thank you. I have a question. Do you have companies already interested in this warehousing? I know you may not be able to tell us who might be under contract, but I'm just wondering if there's already interest.
I'll have to defer that to the developer.
Enrique Escobar, developer. Yes, ma'am, there is a company. There is a company that's already interested in the piece. Their interest is to build 2 million square feet and produce about 2,000 new jobs. So yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Mr. Gomez?
Who's supplying your water? Who's supplying your water?
Who's supplying your water?
The Lower Valley Water. And because of this development, I want to tell you that we are now providing sewer system to that neighborhood and to the adjacent neighborhoods, because we're giving a piece of property to the Lower Valley Water in order to put a lift station. We're running the mains, and there'll be now a connection from the freeway with a 4-lane highway from the freeway to the light of FM 110. So there'll be a connection straight to the freeway that the Department of Transportation is all in support of. So we've been working with the department, the Lower Valley Water, and the county in order to supply water and sewer to that neighborhood.
I have a follow-up. You say connection, so
Somebody help me.
I'm saying you said connection, so that doesn't mean you're connecting each house. The residents would have to do that. You're just going to supply an actual connection that they would eventually need to connect to.
Yes, ma'am, I believe the county is gonna hook up the homes.
Thank you.
I want to make a motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to approve, second by Juan Vaquera. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Aye.
Any abstain? I just want to clarify on the nays. Do I have any nays? Motion carried. Item number 7, public hearing request for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan rezoning of 845 Delilah Avenue being Block 3, Socorro Grant, Track 4-C-1C-C, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to C2 General Commercial, and to approve a conditional use permit to allow a trucking company with a conditional prohibition commercial vehicles onto Delilah Avenue. Mr. Arroyos?
We open public hearing at 5:45. So we close public hearing at 5:46.
To item number 8, consider and take action on the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of 845 Delilah Avenue, being Block 3, Socorro Grand, Track 4-C-1-C, Socorro, Texas, from R1 Single Family Residential to C-2 General Commercial, and to approve a conditional use permit to allow a trucking company with a condition prohibiting commercial vehicles onto Delilah Avenue. Carlos?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again, Yadira. Mr. Chair, Commissioners, Carlos Gainard, this is another rezoning. So again, as it was read into the record, the rezoning is from R1 to C2. And if you all recall, anytime that you need anytime that the use is outer related, right? Tire shop, mechanic shop, truck stop, truck parking lot, you need the conditional use permit. So the application is both for the rezoning from R1 to C2 with the conditional use permit to allow the trucking company. And then what we are saying, and I'll walk you through it, is the condition to, because the lot has frontage on Horizon and has frontage on Delilah, and now it's moving from residential to commercial, we're saying not allowing any truck traffic on the residential street. All of it would have to go through Horizon. And with that, the presentation, again, R1, it's about 3.2 acres in size. The address is actually on Delilah. The future land use map has this as commercial. The land use is, there is a single family house, but it is mostly vacant. The proposed land use is for a trucking business. The request to approve a rezoning from R1 to C2 with the conditional use permit. And then we are recommending approval, but also recommending that you add the condition again, limiting the access only on Horizon. With that, here's the location map. So again, fronting Horizon and Delilah. Here is the zoning map. And so I think as most of you that have lived here longer, that I have worked in Socorro, have recognized that Horizon Boulevard is transitioning, right? Where it may have been all farmland, it may have been all residential. It's been transitioning for a while, so that's why you see, you still have, like, next to this lot, the 845, you still have an agricultural zoning district, but you're starting to see the commercials districts. There's some M1s, some M2s, and so this is just keeping in the pattern of what Horizon City is, what Horizon Boulevard is now going to become, right? Much more heavy commercial than a residential street. And so again, when we look at these things from R1 to C2, it makes sense, right? There's other C2s, there's other M1s, there's other M2s. That is where that street is going towards. And so that is what we're basing our recommendation. So again, from R1 to C2. Here are some pictures of the property that were taken today. The pictures at the top show Delilah. And so again, when the developer or the owner comes in with a construction drawings or the building permit, we will make sure that there's no access onto Delilah. The picture at the bottom is the access from Horizon, or the view from Horizon. Here's the aerial map. So again, you see that small house on Delilah, and then most of the parcel is vacant. Here's just another view of the aerial image. And again, we did send out notices to adjacent property owners, and there were no responses or correspondence. And the summary of the request, again, is to rezone from R1 to C2 with the conditional use permit, and then the condition to prohibit access to Delilah. Happy to answer any questions, sir.
Is there any possible way to make a little driveway for the trucks going east, if they're gonna go into the property, to avoid holding up one lane?
Mr. Gomez, a driveway off of Horizon?
Yes.
You know, I don't know, so they'll have to plat, right? This is just the rezoning, the first phase, we'll look at the plat. There is a little bit of a embankment, right, from Horizon to the property. And so they're gonna have to work with the irrigation district, one, to get the access, and then to negotiate the width of that driveway. And so I don't have a explicit response for you, right? The answer is I don't know. But that's something that we would have to look at when they come in with the subdivision plan.
Okay, do you have a center turn-in lane? Do you have a center turn-in lane in that spot right there? I don't know if you do or
I don't
just
know
a
that
little
you
bit
do.
further.
I think, let me double check. I forget, I was just there today. I believe that you do. I think you do have it all along Horizon onto the different streets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, is this company, you're talking 18-wheelers, or you talking?
Yeah, it would be 18-wheelers. It's a trucking company.
And for that entrance, they would still have to deal with TxDOT and the WID, right?
Correct. And so the first step is the rezoning, right? They want to know that they're able to do the use. And then the next step would be the plating, subdivision, and the coordination with TxDOT and the irrigation district.
I'd like to make,
I have a question.
go ahead, Ms. Cruz.
Will the home be used as residential or,
It cannot be used as residential.
okay, so,
The use goes away. The single-family home goes away
okay,
once it's rezoned.
okay. And I'm assuming they know that?
They do know that, yes.
Okay. I can imagine a world where maybe they turn it into an office. Would they still be limited in having access through that front of the home? Because it's facing Delilah, right?
Yes, it's facing Delilah. So, that's a great question. So the question that you're asking is the structure itself can no longer be a single-family home. We know that because you cannot have single-family homes in a C1 or C2. The question that you're asking is the structure could still be used as an office and then access Delilah. I think you start to open up.
Exactly, and that's the issue.
Yes, I would say that you're limiting any access to that structure, that access to that house would have to be from the lot, from Horizon.
Right, period.
That's
No
what,
exceptions.
That's what the condition would say.
And when, I know that the conditional use permit is for trucking company, but I guess when I think trucking company, I think of a few things. I think of a parking lot, I think of maybe a logistics company that actually has their own trucks, sends people out and in. I think of, maybe a sale, 18-wheeler company. Do we know exactly what type of trucking company?
So our understanding from the applicant is that it is to park 18-wheelers. It is a trucking company / parking lot.
And I'm actually not 100% sure that there is a turning point from Horizon, in front of this property on Horizon, to turn into that property. And so if there's not, what limitations, if any, that you know of, would they have about where they do that U-turn? Because I think there's one, God,
So Ms. Cruz, I'm
think
looking at Google Earth. There definitely is a median turning lane.
in front of this property?
The whole extent of Horizon. So
No, right, that's what I mean. But
either
then-
side could use it to turn left or to turn right. You know what I'm saying? It is a dedicated lane for turning purposes on other sides. What's that? I don't think
No.
they've concreted that section of it. No.
Right, and so that's what I'm wondering, is that if it's covered, so I know there's a median that extends the whole way, and
Yes.
I know that before you hit North Loop, the turn before then is pretty far away from North Loop. And so, again, I'm just trying to, visualize that might be an issue. Would they be doing a U-turn on North Loop So they're coming south from Horizon. Would they be doing a U-turn on North Loop? Would they be doing a U-turn at a different point to go back up Horizon and then turn into the property? And if so, is there the space to do that for an 18-wheeler, right?
Yeah. So they'll have to negotiate that with TxDOT, ma'am. And again,
Okay.
those are things that we'll look at when they come in with the subdivision plat. In terms of those sorts of questions that you're asking.
Right, okay. I mean, as long as it's something that people are thinking about, because what I already envision, I mean, Horizon used to be a large accident-prone street, especially because there were no lights. And now with this new median, that's also not going in right. It's pretty crooked, you know, there's issues with it. You know, my only concern would be for, you know, building up traffic. You know, is it long enough? The turn lane, is it gonna be long enough to hold an 18-wheeler? They're gonna be blocking that one lane, right? And then if they were to try and do a U-turn, you know, will they make it? Were they gonna hold up traffic for 5 minutes while they keep, you know, maneuvering? I don't know. And so those are just questions that pop into my head, but hopefully, yeah, someone figures it out before it's too late. And I think those were my only few questions. Oh, the last question is, did anyone call in or email or mail about, okay, perfect, thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve with staff recommendations.
And the condition?
And the
Staff
condition.
recommendations and
With
the condition.
Yes, sir, thank you.
I'm sorry, just to be clear, because the condition's not on the staff recommendations.
It was on your screen right now with
Yes,
the
sir,
staff
correct.
recommendations with the conditional use and
The condition
for
to
trucking
prohibit-
company and also for the entrance to be through Horizon. So,
Correct.
yes, sir.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to approve with the condition to prohibit any access from Delilah, all access through I apologize, with the condition to prohibit any access from Delilah Avenue, second by Ernest Gomez. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
And staff recommendations?
I have a motion to approve. I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to approve with the condition to prohibit any access from Delilah with staff recommendations. Second by Ernest Gomez. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any nays?
Aye.
Any abstain? Motion carried. Consider and take action. Item number 9, consider and take action. Carlos?
The commissioner's report is for
Yeah.
the commission.
I don't have anything to report. We're just, on our previous meeting, we were talking about that special training that
Yes, sir.
we were,
So I'm still trying to coordinate with the attorney out of Austin. We've been going back and forth, had tried to get them for the July 5th meeting. So we're trying to coordinate that, Mr. Chair, and hopefully, you know, summers are pretty busy for people, right? So probably looking now at September, but definitely on my radar, definitely on my to-do list. So I'll keep you all posted.
thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Cruz?
There was something that I emailed to Mr. Gallinar and the attorney. And I guess, Ms. Marwan, can you tell us if we can go into executive to discuss?
Yeah, I think if you want to discuss in executive, you need to make a motion to go into executive if there's something you need to discuss.
Okay, and just so I don't alarm the commissioners, it should be something of a 10-minute discussion that I thought I brought up. Obviously, I didn't email y'all because I didn't want to have a meeting without the public, right? So we're limited on how we can communicate. And so I'd like to make a motion to go to into executive session to discuss matters that pertain to this commission.
I second.
I have a motion for executive discussion made by Miriam Cruz, second by David Estrada. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Moving on to
6:01, we go into executive session.
Muted. Unmuted.
From New York.
So we leave executive session at 6:13 PM.
Moving on to item number 10, Planning and Zoning Department report.
Mr. Chair, I don't have anything, I do have one item, as I was thinking about meeting today. I'll put it on the next agenda, but the city council did vote on new, city council district map. So if you haven't seen it, it's on our website, but I'm happy to just put it on the agenda for you all to look at it, or there's no discussion, right? It's already been voted on, but it might be helpful for the public to know. We did post it on our website consistently. It is on the front of our office here. It is at City Hall. But it might be of interest to you just in terms of how the new district, what the new district map looks like.
Moving on to item number 11, excuse absent commissioner member. Do I have a motion?
Did they call us?
Motion.
Second.
I have a motion made by Ernest Gomez to excuse, second by Andrew Arroyos. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Consider and take action on the adjournment of this meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion made by Andrew Arroyos to adjourn, second by Miriam Cruz. All those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 6:15. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.